Yo dudes! Welcome to one of the best chocolate cakes in the world ever. Back earlier this year I was in Portugal. I tasted an incredible chocolate cake and this is the perfect vegan creation of it. Okay, first step, we're gonna make our flax egg. We've got 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed into 3 tablespoons of water. This is to function as my binder. This is gonna help it hold together. So just mix it together. And we're gonna leave it sit for 3 to 5 minutes until it coagulates. Next step, into a bowl, we're gonna mix our dry ingredients. So I have 130 grams of white flour. If you wanna make it gluten-free, use gluten-free. If you wanna make it healthier, use wholemeal. But it is a cake, so, you know, don't know if healthier is necessarily there. In on top, 40 grams of cacao powder. This is gonna bring bitterness, which will contrast with the sweet and also give that nice chocolate note. Try to use just pure cacao powder where it'll be 100% cacao. Next step, as our sweetener, I have 150 grams of coconut sugar. If you don't have coconut sugar, use brown sugar, and if you don't have either, just use maple sugar or anything like that. Again, I'm just sieving it to remove the clumps. Rising agent, half a teaspoon of baking powder. I'm just gonna pour it into my hand just to measure it. Baking powder just requires moisture and heat versus soda requires an acid. In it goes. Take a spatula or a spoon and just give it a good mix. Dry ingredients are all mixed together. Now time to take our wet ingredients. 180 ml of oil of choice. Try to use a neutral oil such as a kind of sunflower oil or canola oil or something like that, or even groundnut oil. In on top of that, 150 ml of almond milk or oat milk. Half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So as you see here, these naturally separate. The oil and water based solutions don't mix, so we're going to use an emulsifier. We're going to use the ground flax as the emulsifier. Traditionally in cakes, the egg is a natural emulsifier, so in goes our flaxseed. This is going to enable it all to mix and bind together. An emulsifier is simply fancy term for something that has one part of it has a fat, holds on to fat solutions. The other start is holds on to water-based solutions. So give it a good mix so it emulsifies and comes together. Okay, time to just give it a good mix so it's kind of come together, and don't worry if it's not perfect. Make a little well on our dry ingredients. Take our wet ingredients and let's just pour it in. Take a whisk or a spatula and just give it a good mix. Like normally why you fold a cake is because you don't want to lose any air that's naturally created in it, but in the case of this, we don't want a real big fluffy cake. We want a kind of thick, rich base cake. Okay, give it a really good mix. Make sure it's all lovely and homogenized, and you'll see it's quite runny, lovely loose batter. We've got an 8-inch springform tin. I've covered it with baking parchment. Preheated the oven to 180 degrees. Pour in our batter. Oh, how I love you. How I love you, chocolate cake. Beautiful thing about an eggless batter is, tastes fab. Okay, just make sure it's well mixed. There's no air pockets. Into the oven, we're gonna bake it for 20 minutes. I'm gonna just rotate it midway through at the 10-minute marker just to make sure it cooks evenly. Okay, time to make the most incredible chocolate mousse, and you'd be super surprised. We're gonna base this on aquafaba, fancy name for chickpea water. So we've taken our cake out of the oven. It took 20 minutes. Really important step is to make sure it cools, because it's only when it cools it's solid. And you'll see it's got a nice bounce to the cake. It's really, really nice. This is a rich caramel-like chocolate cake. Time to make our aquafaba chocolate mousse. 1 tin of chickpeas, 400 gram. Put a sieve on top, turn and sieve out all this chickpea water. So it'll be approximate 160 ml of aquafaba or chickpea water. If you don't have chickpeas, you can use butter beans, you could use black beans, you can use many different types, don't worry. We're gonna pop this into our stand mixer. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can simply use an electric hand mixer, but it's very hard not to do this without hand. I'm gonna put in 1 teaspoon of lemon juice or apple cider vinegar. What this does is it gives more stability and functions as a stabilizers and allows our aquafaba to whip beautifully. Turn this on 3/4 speed and let it go. Boom. Okay, so this took about 6 to 7 minutes, and what you're looking for is that your chickpea water will actually froth up like that. Once it's reached that texture, we're gonna leave it going at a medium speed. I have 20 grams of caster sugar or icing sugar. I'm gonna slowly add this in a little bit at a time. This is gonna enable us to make the equivalent of a meringue. And the reason why I'm adding it slowly is I don't want to decompress the air that we've worked so hard to get. Okay, this is the fun bit. This is the bit that I really love. Okay, time to make this into an epic chocolate mousse. So we now have our meringue. That's really, really nice. It's kind of like an Italian meringue as we go. Right now, I want to enrich this. I don't want our chocolate mousse to be just chocolate and kind of chickpea water with a little sugar. I want to add more fat, so it's more richer, more indulgent. I have 75 ml of sunflower oil. I'm going to slowly add that in. Again, I don't want to add it in too quick because I don't want to kind of flatten that air. Now, this is the fun bit. 250 grams of dark chocolate. It's melted, it's viscous, it's ready to go. I'm going to slowly get this on the edge, get a nice point, and just slowly add it in. Okay, once we've got all our chocolate in, turn the speed up high and we're going to whip it. And once it whips, it's going to thicken up and end up with this incredibly wonderful chocolate mousse. Okay, cool. So we've mixed it up until it came together really nicely. And you see it's a wonderful, airy like mousse. What we're going to do now is we've our cooled cake. I'm going to pour it in on top. Careful not to kind of put too much pressure on the mousse. I want to keep it nice, light and fluffy and rich. If the temperature of the chocolate was a little cooler, I'd have a mousse straight away, but ours was a little bit high, so don't worry. Like any good tradesman, it's really important, or tradesperson, it's really important to learn how to recover your mistakes. So if the temperature of the chocolate was cooler, it would harden straight away and it's good to go. But in the case of this, it was a little bit hotter. Pour it on, pop it in the fridge, leave it to set. It's going to take about 2 hours and then it's going to be perfect. And like all others, here's what we did earlier. Way! So look at that mousse, so it's perfect, really, really solid. So you end up with a really solid, firm chocolate mousse. I'm going to open it up here now and show you. We lined this side in this one earlier just so you could see the perfect division of layers. So the bit that makes this cake so elegant is we have a beautiful kind of caramel, spongy, quite a rich chocolate mousse base, or chocolate cake base. I have a fabulous chocolate mousse. Like, look at this just for texture. Oh, super airy, super delicious. And now for the pièce de résistance. Final step just before you serve it. This is something that I think goes so perfectly well and contrasts it really well, is take some cacao powder, pour it in on top. A little light dusting adds that contrast that goes so well with the mousse. We've got a dryness, we've got this kind of sharp bitterness that goes so in contrast with the sweetness. Like all things with food, the contrast of it accentuates the sweetness. Not too much, don't go too much, just a little bit, and boom. Now here's time to try our cake. So look how solid that chocolate mousse ends up, perfect. This is its, oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. See the beautiful caramel chocolate cake, you can see it's quite dense, lovely aerated chocolate mousse, and then that cacao powder on the top just adds this real bitterness. Okay, here we are, moment of glory. All hardcore people eat cakes off the knife. You can hear that chocolate mousse bubbling. That is really delicious, really, really special. Genuinely, this is one of the nicest chocolate cakes I've had. Genuinely, absolutely magnificent. Do try this, makes a wonderful festive centerpiece cake, makes a great celebration cake, and just makes a genuine, incredible cake. Thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and please make this cake. It's incredible. Cheers, bye.